They say Hollywood is all about make-believe, but some stars were out there having children and pretending they didn't exist. In an era when studio contracts were stricter than ever, affairs were common, but admitting to an illegitimate child? That was career suicide. Some of the biggest stars in classic Hollywood had secret children they never acknowledged, while others tried and failed to keep the truth hidden. From shocking affairs to children who spent decades uncovering the truth, these stories reveal the messy family drama lurking behind Hollywood's glitz and glam. Eric Lee Preminger. Imagine discovering at 17 that the man you called Dad wasn't actually your father. That's exactly what happened to Eric Lee Preminger, son of legendary burlesque queen Gypsy Rose Lee. What started as a simple request for a car turned into a life-changing revelation, one that would reshape his identity and lead him to one of Hollywood's most powerful filmmakers. Eric, who grew up believing Alexander Kirkland was his father, found out the truth in the most unexpected way. Seeking money for a car, he approached Kirkland. But he was soon to be informed by his therapist that Kirkland was not his biological father. When Eric confronted his mother, her response was blunt: "None of your business." But his determination led him to the real answer. His father was Otto Preminger. Gypsy Rose Lee, known for her witty and sophisticated approach to burlesque, lived an unconventional life. She took Eric with her on the road, making backstage dressing rooms his playground. Despite her risque performances, Eric describes his mother as surprisingly conservative at home. She never allowed boyfriends around and maintained strict control over their lives. She even refused Otto's financial help. It wasn't until Eric was serving in Germany in 1967 that Otto reached out, leading to an emotional first meeting in Paris. Their late-night walk through the city marked the beginning of a new father-son relationship. Years later, Otto legally adopted Eric, and they worked together in Hollywood. Eric has since dedicated himself to preserving his mother's legacy. Through his books and appearances, he ensures that Gypsy Rose Lee remains more than just a burlesque star. He says she was a woman of intelligence, resilience, and wit, whose story continues to captivate audiences. Judy Lewis. For 31 years, Judy Lewis lived a life built on a carefully guarded secret, one that even she didn't know. Imagine looking in the mirror, seeing the features of a Hollywood legend staring back at you, but never knowing the truth. That was Judy's reality. Born in 1935, Lewis was the product of an affair between two of Hollywood's biggest stars, Clark Gable and Loretta Young. This happened during the filming of The Call of the Wild. However, in an era where scandal could end careers, Young, a devout Catholic, chose secrecy over truth. She quietly disappeared, gave birth in private, and placed her newborn daughter in an orphanage. Nearly 2 years later, she staged a formal adoption, bringing home her own biological child without ever revealing the real story. The whispers never stopped. Lewis bore an uncanny resemblance to Gable, particularly his signature ears. To hide this, Young often made her daughter wear bonnets. It wasn't until Lewis was 31 that she confronted her mother and finally learned the truth. Though Young privately admitted it, she never acknowledged it publicly. Only after her passing in 2000 did her autobiography, Forever Young, confirm the long-kept secret. Despite her complicated beginnings, Lewis built a career in entertainment. She acted in soap operas like General Hospital and produced Texas, a spin-off of Another World. Later in life, she became a psychotherapist, using her own experiences to help others navigate personal struggles. In 1994, she published Uncommon Knowledge, detailing her journey of self-discovery. The book created a temporary rift between her and Young, but the two reconciled before Young's death. Judy Lewis passed away in 2011 at 76, leaving behind a legacy shaped by resilience, revelation, and the pursuit of truth. Ryan Quinn. Anthony Quinn wasn't just a legend on the silver screen. His real-life romances were just as dramatic as his films. While known for his powerhouse performances, he also had a reputation for love affairs with some of Hollywood's biggest stars. These included affairs with Carole Lombard, Rita Hayworth, and Ingrid Bergman. But one relationship stood out as his most shocking. This was an affair that shattered his decades-long marriage and led to an unexpected new chapter in his life. For 29 years, Quinn was married to Italian costume designer Iolanda Quinn, and together they raised 3 children. However, behind closed doors, he was secretly involved with his secretary, Catherine Benvin. When Iolanda discovered the affair, she filed for divorce, leaving Quinn free to marry Benvin. Despite their 47-year age difference, their relationship blossomed into a deep and enduring bond. They welcomed 2 children together, Antonia Patricia Rose Quinn and Ryan Nicholas Quinn. Even in his later years, Quinn defied expectations. At 81, he made history by becoming the oldest actor to father a child, earning him a place in the Guinness World Records. Though little is known about Rose Quinn, Ryan Quinn currently resides in Bristol, Rhode Island, with his mother and sister. Following in his father's artistic footsteps, Ryan plays electric guitar in a rock band called For the First Time Around and recently made his debut in the music scene. After Quinn's passing in 2001, Benvin honored his legacy by founding the Anthony Quinn Foundation in 2007, ensuring his passion for the arts would live on. Tina Sinatra. For decades, the Sinatra family was at the center of Hollywood's biggest headlines. But one story remained hidden in the shadows, until now. Tina Sinatra was the result of a secret love affair between legendary crooner Frank Sinatra and actress Ava Gardner. At the time, Sinatra was still legally married to his first wife, Nancy Barbato, making Tina's existence a deeply guarded secret. Frank and Ava's relationship was one of the most talked-about romances of its time, filled with passion, scandal, and heartbreak. When Ava became pregnant, she chose to keep the child, raising Tina without her father's public acknowledgement. For much of her early life, Tina was shielded from the media. She grew up in the shadow of her mother's Hollywood career, while missing a connection with the man who had captured the world with his voice. It wasn't until later in life that Tina learned the full truth about her lineage. Though Frank had initially distanced himself, time softened his stance, and he gradually welcomed Tina into his life. She was introduced to his other children and became a recognized member of the Sinatra family circle. Despite the unconventional circumstances of her birth, Tina built a close bond with her father. She even offered him support in his later years. Her journey is a powerful testament to love's ability to break through barriers, proving that family isn't just about blood. Anthony Peck. Having a world-famous father and a life of luxury might sound like a dream, but for Anthony Peck, son of legendary actor Gregory Peck, it was anything but. Despite marrying supermodel Cheryl Tiegs and appearing in Hollywood films, Anthony's life spiraled into a battle with alcohol that nearly destroyed him. Born in 1956 to Gregory Peck and French journalist Véronique Pisani, Anthony's early years were marked by secrecy. Gregory, still legally married to Greta Kukkonen at the time, kept his affair and Anthony's birth out of the public eye to protect his reputation. Though he eventually provided for his son and married Véronique, his demanding career meant he wasn't always present. Growing up in the shadow of an icon was challenging. While the world saw Gregory Peck as a picture of dignity and success, Anthony struggled to carve out his own identity. In the 1990s, despite a seemingly perfect life with Tiegs, he battled deep personal turmoil. Photos from the time showed a man who, though physically fit, carried the visible weight of his struggles, his face gaunt, his eyes weary. Anthony pursued acting, landing roles in films like Silver and Fit to Kill, but his career never reached the heights of his father's. Instead, he found himself in a well-documented fight against alcoholism, a battle he has since spoken about openly. His story is a stark reminder that fame and fortune don't guarantee happiness. Sometimes, the weight of a famous name can be as much a burden as a blessing. Marilyn Hassall. Hollywood has always been a place of fame, fortune, and secrets. But few rumors have lingered as long as the claim that Errol Flynn, the ultimate Golden Age playboy, had an illegitimate daughter. Could Marilyn Hass truly be his child? Flynn was known for charming his way into the arms of some of Hollywood's most powerful women. His love life was a tabloid favorite. It was, after all, filled with starlets, socialites, and enough intrigue to keep gossip columnists busy for decades. But in 1943, one allegation stood out from the rest. There was a paternity suit filed by Shirley Evans Hass, who claimed Flynn had fathered her 3-year-old daughter, Marilyn. The legal demand was staggering: thousands in child support, attorney fees, and medical expenses. Flynn, already no stranger to courtroom battles, denied the claim. However, what raised eyebrows was a $2,000 payment he made to Haas just weeks after Marilyn's birth. Flynn insisted it was merely to avoid bad press, but skeptics wondered, if he was innocent, why was he so quick to settle? After nearly a decade of legal wrangling, the case was dismissed in 1951, but the mystery never faded. Some believe Flynn's wealth and influence allowed him to escape the consequences. Others argue there was never enough proof to begin with. One thing is certain, Flynn's reputation as Hollywood's ultimate ladies' man remains intact. But was he also a secret father? That's a question that may never be answered. Sean Flynn. Errol Flynn was no stranger to scandal, but his final love affair was the most controversial of them all. In the late 1950s, the aging Hollywood icon became romantically involved with Beverly Adland. Adland was a young actress whose name would soon be linked to one of Tinseltown's biggest tabloid sensations. Flynn was instantly captivated by Adland. Their relationship, however, wasn't just another Hollywood fling. It led to the birth of Sean Flynn, a child whose very existence defied the expectations of the era. As whispers of the affair spread, Hollywood's elite distanced themselves from the once beloved swashbuckler. The press, always eager for a scandal, turned Flynn from a silver screen hero into a real-life rogue. His reputation, already tainted by previous controversies, took another hit as critics questioned the morality of his personal choices. But the consequences of his actions didn't just affect his career. The birth of Sean Flynn cast a long shadow over the star's final years, adding to his already mounting troubles. While some saw his romance with Adland as another chapter in his rebellious life, others viewed it as the last act of a man spiraling toward ruin. Errol Flynn's legacy remains a mix of charm, controversy, and cinematic greatness. But his relationship with Adland serves as a reminder of Hollywood's relentless scrutiny, where passion, fame, and scandal often collide. Carol Ann Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin, the master of silent film, was used to being in the spotlight, but not like this. In 1943, he found himself at the center of a shocking scandal that gripped the nation. What started as a romantic fling with aspiring actress Joan Barry quickly turned into a courtroom nightmare that would tarnish his legacy forever. Chaplin first met Barry in 1941 while still married to his third wife, actress Paulette Goddard. Their brief relationship led to accusations that he fathered Barry's daughter, Carol Ann. Chaplin, however, fiercely denied being the father, leading to a highly publicized legal battle. Despite undergoing multiple blood tests that scientifically proved Chaplin was not the child's biological father, California law at the time did not accept such evidence in paternity cases. This left the verdict entirely in the hands of a jury, who were swayed not by facts, but by emotions and public perception. In 1945, they ruled against Chaplin, forcing him to pay child support and legal fees, despite DNA evidence proving otherwise. The scandal didn't just cost Chaplin money, it nearly ruined his reputation. Public sentiment turned against him, and his already strained relationship with Hollywood only worsened. Just a few years later, he was effectively exiled from the United States, choosing to spend the rest of his life in Europe. While Chaplin remains one of the greatest cinematic pioneers in history, this courtroom saga serves as a reminder that fame comes with a price. In Hollywood, even a legendary comedian can find himself on the wrong end of a joke, one that cost him dearly. But Chaplin wasn't the only star caught in a love scandal. Stick around for another Hollywood legend whose secret affair changed everything. Victoria Sellers. Victoria Sellers was no stranger to the spotlight, but her life story was far from a fairy tale. As the daughter of famed actor Peter Sellers and actress Britt Ekland, Victoria was thrust into the world of fame and chaos from an early age. However, despite being openly acknowledged by her father, their bond was anything but harmonious. There was quite a tumultuous family history marked by public drama and Peter's erratic behavior. Living in the shadow of her famous parents, Victoria became known not just for her lineage, but for her own brand of controversy. Her lifestyle mirrored the Hollywood excesses of the 1980s and 90s. There were parties, legal troubles, and reckless behavior making headlines. From drug charges to theft, her run-ins with the law started in 1985 when she was accused of stealing a hefty sum from a New Jersey drug dealer. Over the years, her troubles only escalated, with probation for drug-related offenses, multiple arrests, and even a brief stint in jail. Despite her rocky past, Victoria's story is not without redemption. In recent years, she has found success in various fields, from modeling to acting and even reality television. She joined her family on the Swedish show The Ektons in 2013 and later dived into the fashion world, notably as a jewelry designer. Cheryl Crane. Cheryl Crane's childhood was anything but typical, but her life would forever be defined by one tragic event. Born to actress Lana Turner and restaurateur Stephen Crane on July 25, 1943, Cheryl grew up in the glare of Hollywood's spotlight. But beneath the glitz and glamour, her world was marked by tension and instability, especially due to her mother's tumultuous relationships. The most shocking moment of her young life came when she was just 14 years old. On April 4, 1958, during a violent confrontation at their Beverly Hills home, Cheryl fatally stabbed Johnny Stompanato. Johnny was her mother's abusive boyfriend, in what she later described as an act of self-defense. The stabbing occurred after Stompanato made violent threats against Cheryl's mother, pushing the young girl to intervene. With a butcher knife in hand, Cheryl's desperate attempt to protect her mother led to Stompanato's death. Despite the intense media scrutiny and the dramatic nature of the event, Cheryl was acquitted after the court ruled the incident as a justifiable homicide. Her mother, Lana Turner, testified about Stompanato's abusive behavior, which ultimately led to Cheryl's release from juvenile custody. In the years that followed, Cheryl struggled to cope with the emotional fallout, even facing 2 suicide attempts. However, she later found stability, marrying model Jocelyn Josh Leroy in 2014. Today, Cheryl works as a real estate agent, finding strength in her journey and using her experiences to advocate for victims of domestic violence. Her story is a testament to resilience, showing how even the darkest moments can lead to a path of healing and self-empowerment. Roberto Rossellini. For years, Ingrid Bergman was Hollywood's golden girl, a picture of grace, talent, and untouchable virtue. But in the late 1940s, one decision turned her from America's sweetheart into an international pariah. The reason? A passionate affair with Italian filmmaker Roberto Rossellini. This affair sent shockwaves through the industry and beyond. Bergman had already established herself in Swedish and German cinema before Hollywood came calling. By the late 1930s, she had cemented her status as a major star with Intermezzo, a role that launched her career in America. But just as she reached the peak of her fame, she met Rossellini, and everything changed. Their love story began with a simple letter, but it quickly escalated into a full-blown romance. The only problem? They were both married. In an era when morality clauses ruled Hollywood, Bergman's affair was seen as unforgivable. The scandal exploded when she became pregnant with Rossellini's child, forcing her into exile. Studios turned their backs, and even the U.S. Senate publicly condemned her. The woman who once epitomized purity was now labeled a homewrecker, her films boycotted by furious audiences. Despite the backlash, Bergman stood by Rossellini. They married and had 3 children, including Roberto Rossellini Jr., but even this romance had an expiration date. After 7 turbulent years, the couple divorced, and Bergman slowly rebuilt her career. Time eventually softened the public's outrage, and Bergman reclaimed her place in Hollywood history, but her love affair with Rossellini remains one of the most infamous scandals of the silver screen. It is proof that even the brightest stars can fall from grace. Allegra Houston. From the outside, Allegra Houston's childhood seemed like something out of a Hollywood script. Glamorous, intriguing, and filled with larger-than-life figures. But beneath the surface lay a family mystery that would redefine her identity forever. Born on August 26, 1964, Allegra was raised as the daughter of legendary filmmaker John Huston. As far as she knew, she was part of his legacy, growing up alongside his other children, including actress Angelica Houston. But the truth was far more complicated. Allegra's mother, Enrica Soma, had been married to Huston for years. But during a period of estrangement, she had an affair with John Julius Norwich, the Viscount of Norwich. That affair led to Allegra's birth, a fact that remained hidden from her for much of her early life. Tragedy struck in 1969 when Enrica Soma died in a car accident, leaving young Allegra without her mother. In a surprising act of devotion, John Huston stepped in and raised her as his own, never treating her differently from his other children. His decision defied social expectations and demonstrated the depth of his character. As Allegra grew older, she uncovered the truth about her biological father and struggled to reconcile her dual heritage. Her journey of self-discovery led her to write Love Child, a memoir of family lost and found. In this, she openly explored the complexities of her identity. Along with that, she looked at her relationship with two fathers and the emotional weight of growing up with a secret past. Today, Allegra Huston has forged her own path as a successful writer. She has proved that even the most complicated beginnings can lead to a meaningful and fulfilling future. Mickey Rooney Jr. Imagine growing up believing you were part of Hollywood royalty, only to discover later that your lineage was not what it seemed. This was the reality for Mickey Rooney Jr., the eldest son of legendary actor Mickey Rooney. Born on April 12, 1945, he was introduced to the world as the son of Rooney and his second wife, Betty Jane Race. For years, the public embraced him as the heir to one of Hollywood's most iconic names. But beneath the glamour, a hidden truth was waiting to surface. As time passed, shocking details emerged that rewrote the narrative of Mickey Rooney Jr.'s life. It was revealed that he was not biologically connected to the Hollywood star. Instead, it was the result of an affair between his mother and renowned musician Mel Torme. The revelation sent shockwaves through the entertainment world. It forever altered Mickey Rooney Jr.'s perception of his identity and family ties. Discovering his true parentage was an emotional challenge. It threw him into a whirlwind of self-discovery. For decades, he had lived under the assumption that he was the direct descendant of a screen legend, only to find out his roots lay elsewhere. The revelation could have defined him, but instead, he chose to rise above it. Rather than being overshadowed by scandal, Mickey Rooney Jr. forged his own path. He pursued a career in music and entertainment, refusing to let his complicated family history dictate his destiny. His journey became one of resilience and determination. It proved that identity is about more than just genetics. It's about the life you build and the choices you make. In the end, Mickey Rooney Jr. stood as a testament to the power of perseverance in the face of life's most unexpected twists. Priscilla Brando. Marlon Brando was larger than life, both on and off the screen. While he mesmerized audiences with unforgettable performances, his personal life was just as dramatic. Decades after his passing, new details about his family continue to emerge. This includes the lesser-known story of Nina Priscilla Brando. Born in 1989, Nina Priscilla Brando was one of 3 children Brando fathered with his longtime housekeeper, Maria Cristina Ruiz. Unlike some of Brando's other children who lived in the public eye, Nina and her siblings, Miles and Timothy, were raised away from the Hollywood spotlight. Their mother kept a relatively low profile, and Brando himself never spoke publicly about their relationship, leaving many to speculate about the reasons behind the secrecy. Some believe Brando kept his relationship with Ruiz and their children quiet to protect his image. Already known for his turbulent love life, acknowledging an affair with his housekeeper might have fueled even more controversy. Others suspect that Brando, despite his reputation as a Hollywood rebel, may have felt conflicted about the situation, given his history of complicated relationships. Whatever the case, his silence only deepened the mystery surrounding his private world. However, this secrecy did not come without consequences. After Brando's passing, Maria Cristina Ruiz filed a $100 million lawsuit against his estate, claiming he had promised to support her and their children indefinitely. While she continued receiving child support, she alleged that he abruptly cut off financial assistance for her, sparking a legal battle that further highlighted the complexities of Brando's personal affairs. Despite their father's fame, Nina Priscilla Brando and her siblings have largely remained out of the limelight. Their story serves as a reminder that even Hollywood's most iconic figures leave behind secrets that continue to unravel long after the cameras stop rolling. Michael Lindsay Hogg. For decades, Michael Lindsay Hogg lived with a question: was Orson Welles his real father? Born into a world of fame and talent, Lindsay Hogg was raised as the son of Sir Edward Lindsay Hogg and actress Geraldine Fitzgerald. But whispers of a secret lineage followed him throughout his life. Geraldine Fitzgerald, the Irish-born actress known for her role in Wuthering Heights, 1939, had a brief affair with legendary filmmaker Orson Welles. At the time, Welles was married to Virginia Nicholson, and Fitzgerald was with Edward Lindsay Hogg. Despite their separate marriages, the two carried on a secret romance, one that resulted in the birth of Michael Lindsay Hogg in 1940. While Fitzgerald never acknowledged Welles as Michael's biological father, there were always hints. The families lived near each other, and Christopher Welles Feeder, Orson's daughter, always suspected that Michael was her half-brother. She felt an uncanny resemblance between them, though neither had confirmation, until decades later. Eventually, Michael decided to seek the truth. A DNA test finally revealed what had long been rumored. Orson Welles was indeed his father. However, Fitzgerald, true to her silence, never confirmed it before her passing. Despite growing up without the knowledge of his famous father, Michael carved out an impressive career in his own right. He became a renowned British film and theater director, leaving his own mark on the entertainment industry. His half-sister, Christopher Welles Feeder, documented the complex family ties in her autobiography, In My Father's Shadow, shedding light on the hidden truths of Hollywood's past. Michael Lindsay Hogg's story is one of mystery, legacy, and the enduring search for identity in the world of stardom. Bonus: Marilyn Monroe's child. The idea of Marilyn Monroe having a secret child is the kind of Hollywood mystery that keeps fans and historians buzzing. Monroe, the ultimate blonde bombshell, captivated audiences with her beauty, charm, and undeniable talent. Yet behind the dazzling spotlight, she carried a deep longing for something more, a family of her own. The question remains: did she ever secretly become a mother? For decades, whispers have circulated that Monroe may have had a child and placed them for adoption. While there is no concrete evidence to confirm this, rumors persist, fueled by vague accounts and conspiracy theories. Monroe was open about her desire for children, but her life was filled with challenges that made motherhood difficult. Struggles with endometriosis, multiple miscarriages, and the pressure to maintain her on-screen image all played a role in shaping her personal life. One of the most compelling claims suggests that Monroe gave birth while still in foster care before she rose to stardom. According to this theory, one of her foster families was responsible for her pregnancy, and she had little say in the fate of her child. Given the strict societal norms of the time, such a situation would have been scandalous and likely kept hidden. If this child does exist, they would now be in their 80s, living an ordinary life completely unaware of their legendary lineage. It's a thought-provoking scenario, one that blends tragedy with the faint hope that Monroe's child, if real, found the love and stability she never had. So could there be an unknown heir to Hollywood's most iconic actress? Or is this just another chapter in the endless myth-making surrounding Monroe's life? The mystery remains, leaving fans to wonder what secrets still linger in the shadows of old Hollywood. Hollywood's golden age was filled with sparkle, sophistication, and hidden secrets. Many of the biggest stars led double lives, leaving legacies that surfaced years later. These stories prove that fame can't bury every scandal forever. What do you think? Were these hidden heirs victims of circumstance, or part of the industry's web of secrets? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Hollywood's most shocking family mysteries, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on new videos. More fascinating stories are coming your way.